Executive function is a set of mental skills that help you get things done. But I think I stayed home the day everybody else got theirs. My high school years were a blur and exercise in tightrope walking. This metaphor is exceedingly suitable because not only do I have vertigo, I am also insubstantial in stature, and thus am frequently tossed about by wild winds. I was a low-key adrenaline junkie, constantly towing the line between pass and fail, trying to balance my perfectionism with my severely limited supply of fucks to give. I didn't have a boyfriend because I was too busy bedding down with procrastination and self-destructive tendencies. I felt like I was treading water or sailing against the wind. I had places to be, but I couldn't make headway. Everyone else had a fast car and a roadmap. I was extending my stay at a roadside motel with free Wi-Fi. Everyone reacts to acute stress differently. Fight or flight, but my stress response is defective, it seems. Instead of flighting or fleeing, my gauge is perpetually set to dilly-dally. I would avoid studying because the idea of studying stressed me out, but then the stress from not studying made me too stressed to study, and on it went, a vicious cycle punctuated with intermittent bouts of insomnia and rage naps, which is like when you rage quit a video game, only better because naps. I started drinking coffee in Form 5. At the tender age of 17, my body was already starting to blossom into the decrepit, salty, overly caffeinated creature you see standing before you. I brought it to school in a red Nescafe travel mug mixed with 2 spoonfuls of honey because I was still a baby. I grew out of this habit as my tongue grew bitter and jaded. People have told me that I am quiet, that when I do speak, they're often surprised. They didn't know that someone so soft-spoken could be so opinionated, that someone so small could contain such big thoughts. You see, what I lack in height, I make up for in depth. What I lack in ability, I make up for in heartfelt yearnings, like a wishing well. You know, if wishing wells granted what-ifs instead of wishes. They say still waters run deep, but still waters are also good for 2 things: moss and mosquitoes. Dense, damp, and herbaceous should be the title of my memoir, and blood-sucking female would be the sequel. Under a matted clump of vegetation floating in the stagnant pools of my life, millions of larvae made from self-doubt and neglect start gestating. They mature into pests that suck the lifeblood out of me. Killing me by inches, they buzz around my head in the dead of night. And much like this meandering metaphor, I have forgotten which direction my life was supposed to be heading in. The difference between an oasis and a swamp is where the water comes from and what grows from it. So, where does my water come from? What grows from me? Imposter syndrome is a concept describing high-achieving individuals with an inability to internalize their accomplishments and a persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. The more I learn, the more I know that I don't know anything. I am not smart, I am merely literate. I read things other people have discovered and use it for my own edification. If Wikipedia had a mandatory subscription fee, then I'd be shit out of luck, because the only thing I like better than knowledge is free knowledge. What has been will be again, what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. I didn't say that, that's from the Bible. You see, I'm not smart, I'm merely literate. I don't know a great many things, but this is what I know for certain. 3 days after I die, my internal organs will start to rot. 5 days after I die, my body will bloat. In a week, my body will turn red. That's the blood decomposing. In a month, I will be fluid, at rest, yet not stationary. And in less than a decade, I will be nothing but a skeleton, all dressed up with nowhere to go. When I think about my children, I write down the word hypothetically in capital letters in red ink surrounded by parentheses. I can't imagine bringing a baby into this world, the selflessness, the pain, the phone calls I'd have to make, the doctor's appointments I'd have to schedule. No. When I think about children, I'm actually thinking about our children, all our children, the bigger picture, something vague, conceptual, an exercise in imagination, like how you nod quietly at an abstract painting, pretending you understand, when really you're tempted to squint and tilt your head sideways because you just don't see it, like a healthy person, casually joking about dying, like an astronomer talking about how our sun will explode in 5 billion years. It's not real to me, but I know it will happen, eventually. Probably. I guess. If I had a daughter, I don't know if I'd want her to be like me. I was a weird child. I don't remember much from my childhood, but my mom said I used to dance every time I heard music. I grew out of this habit when I was 10 or so, when my body became a cage instead of an instrument. I spent my days locked up in my own head, abstaining from food and devouring books. Anti-socially getting acquainted with a cast of fictional characters. I was a universe unto myself. My mind was the sun around which all things revolved, and the larvae swimming under the surface of my consciousness were more like tadpoles than mosquitoes. If anything grew from me in those early days besides moss, it was probably just a forest of papyrus. I don't remember much from my school days, but I know I did more arithmetic on road trips than I ever did in class. You see, my kampong is in Sungai Asap Belaga, 12 hours by car on a good day, filled with daydreams, boredom, and distance word problems. If Daddy is driving 60 kilometers an hour, that means we're covering 1 kilometer a minute, and if the milestone marker says there's 120 kilometers to go to Bintulu, then it is lying. Never trust milestone markers on Sarawakian roads. Either the people who built them measure distance on a different ruler than we do, or you enter a parallel dimension every time you drive past Tatao at night. A place where the fabric of time stretches and warps, where the road expands and lengthens when lit by starlight. The difference between an oasis and a swamp is geography. I often wonder how much of me is truly me, and how much is just a product of my surroundings. The Bethany that lives in that parallel dimension where time and space are mere suggestions instead of guilt-fueled alarm bells. Is she happy? Is she satisfied? Or is she bored and yearning for something more? I don't know if I will ever know. I don't know what I will leave behind when I die. I don't know if I will ever be satisfied with my progress. I don't know where my water comes from, or what will grow from me. I still don't know a great many things, but these 4 things I do know for certain. 1, although my tongue is bitter and jaded, I take my honey wherever I find it. 2, I'd rather be a mossy pond than a rolling stone anyway. 3, milestones are relative. 4, I have started dancing again every time I hear music. Thank you.